The first generation, so 1G means first generation of mobile phone networks, was introduced in 1979 by NTT Docomo in Tokyo. And first it was only in Tokyo metropolitan area, and then 5 years later it was nationwide. So the first nationwide mobile phone network was in Japan. And then 1G is still analog. And then starting with 2G it became digital. So in 1991, in Finland was the first 2G network. And then 3G was introduced in 2001, again by NTT Docomo in Japan. And we have a look at this soon. And the next generation, even faster and nicer, is now 4G, or also called LTE, long-term evolution. And it was introduced in 2009 in Sweden, and now many more countries are following. So let's have a look at what is 2G, because here in Taiwan, many people of you, and many guys of us, we use 2G mobile phones. So how does 2G works? Yeah, first of all, it's digital, and then the concept I want you to understand is 2G or GSM works with time slices. So every color here represents one mobile phone, and then like in every split second, you have time to talk. So it means like all mobile phones, and they are connected with one antenna, like the broadcast station gives you a small time slice when you can communicate. So all mobile phones need to share this channel, and you can just talk for a split second. And how about 3G? So 3G is much, much faster, and the principle is totally different. And it uses a mathematic function called Welsh function. And don't worry, you don't need mathematics here. But just to tell you how it works. So if there are 4 different mobile phones, that are like the signals that they send. And the Welsh function, they can put those 4 signal lines together into one line. And this one line is sent to all mobile phones. And then every mobile phone has a key, and each mobile phone can only read its personal data. The other data, the other mobile phone cannot read or not understand. It's like, yeah. So that's a very, very, very different approach. Okay, and here I want to give you just a broad overview about mobile communication. Especially there are all things we use every day. So here is Bluetooth. I think most mobile phones today have Bluetooth function. And it's mostly used like for data transfer. You can transfer your photo from one mobile phone to the other mobile phone. Or you can have headsets and listen music on your computer or your mobile phone. So these kind of usages. And then the second thing we also use every day is wireless LAN or Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi can become very, very fast. But of course we can only use it inside buildings or near buildings. And then here you can see we have already 2G. And 2G, you can see here the data rate of 2G is very, very low. And it's only used, or mostly used for telephony services. But the good thing about 2G, and that's the reason why many companies also here in Taiwan, like Zhonghua, Dianqi, they use it because one antenna can have a radius of 35 kilometers. So it's much cheaper than the other technologies. Like 3G, the antenna is less than 10 kilometers. But of course, the data rates, when you want to use internet, they are much faster. And yeah, 4G has the similar problem. It is the radius is not that far, but the data rates are much, much higher. Okay, so unfortunately, it's not available in Taiwan yet, 4G, but here you can see 2 commercials from the US. This is from T-Mobile. So they already have a 4G network there. And Sprint, another US-American mobile phone software company, they also already offer 4G. But the interesting thing is, right now 4G is not able to be used with mobile phones because I think the antenna is still too big yet. So they only offer like at-home packages, so you can like have wireless internet very fast at your home. But so it will take maybe another 1 or 2 years until we have like 4G mobile phones. Okay, so what kind of mobile devices we have today? So I think the classical mobile phone we all know, and then kind of the new evolution was the smartphone. And I think the most prominent examples are BlackBerry, iPhone, then all kind of Android and Windows mobile phones, especially made by HTC. Then another in-between thing we have are like MP4 players with Wi-Fi. For example, iPod Touch. It's just an MP3 or MP4 player, but with Wi-Fi you can still access your email. And then we have a new in-between thing, it's called tablet PC. So most prominent is like iPad or Galaxy Tab. So it's smaller than the classical notebook, which is also mobile, you can bring it to everywhere. But, so those tablet PCs are somewhere in the middle. Some of them, like iPad or Galaxy Tab, they even have 3G connection. So they are really something in between. Alright, so let's have a look to Japan. Because we always say, like in Japan, they use a lot of new technology much earlier before we use it. Okay, so let's have a look about some functions you can use in Japan. First of all, their photo resolution is really high. I think right now they have 14 megapixel. Even iPhone 4 only has 5 megapixel. Video calls. Since 1999, you can already make video calls in Japan with your mobile phone. Last year, in 2010, Apple introduced video calls on iPhone. 11 years later, wow. Okay, what about e-payment? That's very, very interesting. People in Japan, you can use your mobile phone to pay in shops. And the most prominent example is for train tickets. In Japan, there's a ticket called Suica. And here, let's have a look at this. And usually before, Suica was just a card, like a credit card. You can just use this with an RFID chip, and it's like an electronic train ticket. But actually, they extended it, and now with your mobile phone, you can get your train ticket. And the thing is, with Suica, you only cannot get train tickets. In many, many shops like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, you can actually pay everything with that. So your mobile phone becomes much more than only mobile phone. You can even buy things everywhere. And then, of course, it's like, for Japan, it's of course, I mean, you can watch TV everywhere with, it's called Wonsec. And they don't have SMS anymore. Japan disabandoned SMS totally. They only have push email. So in Japan, there's no more 2G network. They only have 3G. They totally shut down all 2G antennas already. And many mobile phones, they also have, it's called pedometer. It's like, it counts the, like how many steps you walk. So it's just amazing. Or yesterday I talked with one of my fellow students from Japan, and she said, yeah, usually with Japanese mobile phone, you can, if you stand in front of a TV, you just choose which company, like this TV is from which company, and then you can use your mobile phone as a remote control. It's normal for them. So like a lot of functionality in Japan. And especially e-payment. Right now, Google with Android, they are talking already for more than 6 months, oh, they want to introduce e-payment on Android phones. And I just don't understand why they need so long to introduce that, because in Japan they use it already for more than 5 years.